Lovely day at the Real Deal Khalil production facility.
Yeah. So the first thing we're gonna discuss is what we say, name origins.
Name origins.
Okay.
Well, so the thing is, when you name your child or when you hear a name, do you believe that brings forth a certain future for that child?
That's a great question because I really believe that about my name, but I don't know if that's the case for everybody. My name is Khalil, which means good friend in Arabic, but that was impressed upon me as a child, so like by my parents. So I don't know if that, like the reason I internalized that was because of them or if it's my name that brings it out. Kind of like horoscopes. Like people will be like, "Yeah, I'm a Aries, so da da da." It's like, well, no, you just know that you're an Aries, so then you align with it, So I don't know.
Well, so okay, I kind of believe that about the space signs.
Okay.
Right, the astrology. My name is Chris. Right, Mom had a little swag to it. Put a K in front of it. Right. So it has the background of a Christ figure, biblical, lottie-dottie, right? So I'm not really religious, but I do believe that, all religions have some form of, if you do right, your life will just be better, right? So I take that from my name. But then let's just say you have a name like Beyonce, right? Does that symbolize like, wow, this is gonna be the next Michael Jackson? Or does it, or would some say, man, that's kind of ghetto?
So with that, it makes me think it's kind of like an element of it is what you make it, because there's so many, let's take rappers for instance, or any music artist, where it's like, they choose a name that might seem off the wall the first time you hear it. And then as their career ascends, you're like, oh, that's such and such. You associate it with greatness. But then if it's trash, the same thing, you're like, oh, that's such and such. So it's, I think it's that piece of it. But then with Beyonce specifically, I told you I heard her mom speaking on, I don't know, it was like a podcast or interview or something, and she was saying that it was actually a misspelling of her original surname, and her siblings have different spellings of the same name. I think when they moved from Louisiana to Texas, because the whatever clerical errors, I guess it was at the time. So I don't know. It's interesting. Names are super important to me. Again, though, that could just be because of how I was raised. So I just view names as being important. I don't know that they necessarily like dictate your future per se.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I agree, right? So like Beyonce kind of reminds me of Tiger. I don't think that's Tiger's real name, but it's just something that goes, right?
Okay.
So let me ask you this: when you hear a name,
Tiger, the artist, Tiger,
golfer.
Oh, Tiger Woods.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or Tiger, right?
Okay.
So when you hear a name, if you hear a name in a professional setting, and I mean like a Shaquisha, right? Is your first thoughts like, this is an urban young lady? Like you have no thought of, man, this is about to be a Caucasian person walking in here.
Sure. I think names give some insight, and obviously that adage, don't judge a book by its cover, can go a long way, because you might get surprised. Either way, somebody from a different race with a name that you might associate with another race. So, and shoot, I think even some black people do that intentionally, like, thinking that they'll give their child kind of a leg up in the academic / professional world. Like, okay, well, I think, I don't know, let's say something simple like a Justin, you can't really tell what origin it is.
Right. So, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, exactly.
Chris is definitely one of the, and you know what's funny? My mom has mentioned that to me before.
That was her, like a part of her thinking, even if
so the K came from my father's name, start with a K.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But she was into Bible names, and if you think about it, a lot of the names in the Bible seem to show up in multiple races. The Matthews, the Johns. So you see a John
very standard.
Yeah. So whether she was specifically trying to make it go from Bankhead to Buckhead, she chose that, like, oh, this should work. You know what I'm saying? This seems fair. This seems what I call Bankhead to Buckhead.
I got you. Or just kind of standard across the board enough to where it's like it doesn't raise any eyebrows for whatever reason. Because we're all susceptible to our own experiences in the past, whether good or bad.
Can you think of the craziest name that you personally know?
Oh wow. No, I'm not saying that. Nope, can't think of it. I'm not thinking of it. Yep.
I remember seeing a list, and the list had some wild names. It was like MARTA bus stations, or somebody on the list name was like really fish and chips.
Okay. Fish and chips.
But I mean,
it's your world.
Whatever works.
That doesn't work.
Last thing about the names, how would you approach naming your child?
With my child's mom, but definitely I would push for something with a meaning. Like, even if it's not textbook meaning, just like it could be related to, I don't know, some experience, or something we hope to be true for, like, in their life, speaking positivity and stuff like that over the child's name. So meaning, man, I think most things should have meaning. Right. Stuff that's meaningless is usually a waste. Usually.
Okay, so let's move on to video production. We both do videos. Sure. We both kind of started in the live production realm, and have expanded to different types of digital media. So let's say, in this current climate, where we have iPhones for videos, Androids for videos, a bunch of artificial intelligence technology, what is it that makes the video production person now?
What makes them, like, stand out?
Or what is it that the average person doesn't have knowledge of that comes with somebody who really studies the sport?
I think it's two things. Well, two things that pop in my head are one, storytelling, which I think is a thing that still separates human creativity from artificial intelligence, because it's just like holes in the stories that are produced through AI right now, at least. It could get better. So storytelling, and then I would say separating the skilled person in video production, filmmaker, whatever, from the lay person would be technical savviness. So, knowing the basics of camera operation, ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and what to do in certain situations. That kind of comes along with experience. You just won't really be able to solve those issues by just guessing at it. But I think it's super dope that people get, especially with like user generated content on social media. So, most people using their iPhones or whatever kind of phone they have to create those pieces of content. I think it's excellent that the barrier has been lowered so that more people can express themselves. And if they want to, they can get into the more technical side. I've seen that transition. Some people have come to me with questions about going from one to the other to the more professional side so that they can get more out of the equipment that they might have purchased and stuff. But I don't know. I think it's definitely doing this. It's merging closer and closer. It's like, dang, that look pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. Or you see those ads every year, or every time they release a phone, a shot on iPhone. You're like, hey, that's cold. Granted, of course, they still using equipment and full film crews.
Good lighting.
Watch it. That's obviously key. Yeah, good lighting is wonderful, because that's one of the main differences you can see is the camera sensor versus a phone sensor.
And that's something they never show in the commercials either.
But it's lit by professional cinematographers. Yeah, that's what. So it's like, yeah, of course.
But then when you get that phone and you go to a Falcons practice or actual game, and you like, wait,
they got
this is not what they showed me in the advertisement for this iPhone newest one available.
Nah, because they want to make sure it's like super accessible and easy to use, where you still get a great result. Which I think they've accomplished that pretty well. What do you think about video production?
So
and the barriers.
I do agree. The technology has gotten better across the board.
Okay. Of course, yeah.
Whether we talking audio,
of course,
lighting, camera lenses, but once again, it's also, like you said, the storytelling of the creator. So sometimes it's interesting to see someone I follow on social who creates things like a Country Wayne, and you be like, wow, they made a lot of content with that phone.
They made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money with that phone. Yeah. So then it's like, well, it's harder for me to come out of being a person who started in live production, filming Iron Bowls and inside the NBA to be like, wow, they did this with the iPhone. But does that mean that they also not trying to go to Netflix? Does that mean they're not trying to go to a larger network because their focus is, I'm just going to capitalize on the money on social with vertical video, right? Where vertical video is not on none of the TV applications. So that's one thing that comes to my mind about the possible dilemma of creating all this content that you can only use on one platform, right? But I think it's great.
Okay.
The other part is, it might be a dilemma when it comes to charging or having your price as a video creator to someone who sees an iPhone as this will work.
Okay, sure.
Not as much in corporate. It seems like corporate is still a part of hand-to-hand business where they kind of understand that he's not going to walk in here with an iPhone and film this whole conference.
Right.
Where the average person might be like, I don't really feel like I should pay that much for this because my phone can get footage as well. So that's, I know I kind of went around, but that's kind of where I look at the.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, though. I mean, just like with every business, everything isn't for everyone. Like, everybody's not a part of the target audience. So if they don't value the video production enough to, say hire a video company or whatever they're saying, just like, okay, yeah, I can get my cousin to come shoot this with the iPhone and that'll be fine, then ultimately that's fine for them. Like, they might not have been satisfied either with hiring a video company. Even if the final product is great, they might have felt like, I don't want to say cheated, but like they spent too much money on this thing where it's like they just didn't value it. Like, everybody doesn't value everything, not to that degree. Like, that's just going to be the case with whatever. For instance, if you go out to eat at a high-end restaurant, somebody might have a great experience and say, okay, yeah, this is cool. I could come back, do this once a month, blah, blah, blah. In person, people will be like, man, I could have spent $15 at American Deli and ate like a king and, had leftovers, blah, 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 and didn't have to tip them. So it's like, yeah, you still get full from both, but true. The experience and all that would be totally different. So it's the same thing. I think everything is not for everybody.
I agree. Yeah. But do you think it's, okay, for example, let's say when you do have a client and you pre-produce what you're about to deliver. Have you ever had a client that really only knows what they want after they receive a delivery? So once you create something for them, then they like, oh, this is what I really thinking after you kind of gave them a layout, a blueprint to be like, oh, wow. Okay, now that's what I'm really thinking. Like, how do you handle, for one, I know you're going to do the revisions, right? Just on some professionalism. But What can you take from that to learn?
To my phone for one when we're
really,
yeah. Ironically, yeah.
Really, oh yeah. So what do you take from that to kind of zero in? Like this is what the client really is looking for, even though they kind of didn't know at first.
I do all the pre-pro I can, and kind of consult, especially stuff that's out of the norm. Like if I'm photographing a birthday party or something, or doing a regular studio shoot, or just a portrait headshot session. Like it pretty much is what it is. I might ask some questions about some lighting setups that they want, but other than that, it's like, yeah, I just want to look good. Or they'll say like, I want nice lighting. I'm like, okay, whatever, whatever that be. So I got kind of standard stuff for that. But when it comes to specific deliverables, and they don't know what they want from the end, which happens sometimes. That's where it gets really tricky, because it's like I can't prepare for every scenario. I have to, kind of carry equipment for what I need. So thankfully, I've been doing it now, 10 years. Okay. So I've seen a lot. I've made quite a few mistakes. So I can avoid a lot of it. But some things it just will be what they are. So, the best you can do customer service wise is just accommodate them as best as you can. It's my experience, at least. It's more important to me for the client to be fulfilled in like 97% of the cases. Okay. Sometimes it's like, you know what, just cut the losses, blah, blah, blah. Whether that be a refund or just like, can we do this, and then I can refer you to somebody else. It just depends on where we are in the production stage, but that's my typical how I handle it.
Let's do a rapid reaction.
Okay.
Because this happened to me before, and with a wedding in particular.
Okay.
Right.
That's tough.
Random thing you wouldn't want to have to fix, okay, right? Wedding wise.
Okay.
Would you rather have missing footage or missing audio?
What are the deliverables?
The deliverable is just a highlight wedding video, but you know how it goes. You know that the shot you may have missed was the bride wasn't completely crispy on the focus.
Oh, okay.
Or they specifically wanted their mom in there, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you get those because you be like, I got the mom, but not really in a, or audio of the toast. If you had to pick something that you was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell them, unfortunately, that this did not.
Well, see, that's why I asked that, because if I'm just doing a highlight video and like the audio, yeah.
Okay.
Typically, I don't have to include audio, which I almost always do record it anyway, because it's one of those things. It's like if they decide to change their mind later on, since this happened, hey, we do want that full ceremony videos anyway to get that footage. I'm like, yeah, it's extra, how much ever it is. But outside of that, missing shots, like especially stuff that we specify. If it's just on the day of and they kind of think of it and then we don't get to it, so be it. But if it's like we planned it out, it happens, bro. Wedding days are tough because it's so many moving parts and you basically putting out fires from start to end.
Okay, wedding day, right? To all the videographers, we are teaching y'all something right now because we have all experienced the ups and downs of it. I've personally had a hard drive that I had to pay $850 for to get it recovered.
That happened to me on the biggest project I've ever had. That happened to me. It hasn't happened since. It never happened before.
Heart sunk. Yeah. $850.
Yeah, it was crazy. That it came out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was blessed because the project I'm talking about was for a record label, and let's say we might have shot like 5 artists. It was me. It was a team of like 4 people, myself included, that I took down and did the shoot. It was like a 2.5 day shoot, I want to say, part here and then part in Memphis, and yeah, man, I brought the hard drive here. I had backed it up at the day of, plugged it in, and this computer behind me, the drive, was sitting on the desk. Nobody came in. I flew to Houston or Dallas. one of them, and for my homegirl's birthday. And then, party, blase. I know it was working because my dad, he was able to like access a file for me because they needed to see like one of the photos while I was in Texas. So he was able to get it, and I was like, okay, cool. So everything's good. I'll check it out when I get back. I get back, let's say on Sunday or Monday, and that job will not pull up. I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe it's just been sitting here, whatever. I try another port. I try another computer. I'm like, bro, stop playing with me. And it was so weird because the lady that hired me, she was saying that, can you bring a drive on the day of so that we can back it up to just in case something happened. I was like, yeah, that's literally never happened, but okay, I'll bring a drive. So I bought that drive specifically to back it up on the day of, and I did. In retrospect, I would have bought two and then just, duplicate it. That's one way. If you have like a really high risk project like that, just get another copy so you can make sure you have two, because anything can happen. Thankfully, though, it was weird that it happened for that client, but thankfully it did happen for that client because they had the budget to just send it off, and I had it back in a couple of days.
Wow.
It was more than $850.
Yeah.
For sure. It was like... It was a couple of thousand, I want to say.
Yeah, because that was for a partial hard drive recovery.
Okay.
And I went to this place
in Atlanta.
We're in Georgia, so it was in Duluth, near Pleasantdale area.
Yeah.
And they were known for recovering, at the time, cable company hard drives.
Okay.
So things that, you watch Xfinity or Spectrum, they would fix those hard drives, and so they would still do the smaller hard drives. And to this day, I have not brought another WD passport.
Rocking with those, bro.
I have not. It cost me $850.
And the hard drive itself was probably $100.
Yeah.
So it cost more than
I remember when I called WD, and they was like, "Yeah, we'll replace the hard drive, but we will not do anything for the footage. Yeah, for the data." So
I think this hard drive is
Yeah, I was like, I don't give a damn about the hard drive. like right now, I got a whole wedding on here that got to get done. So to all the videographers out there, be sure to definitely have plans to store footage.
That's a great point. So my workflow now, I'll keep the footage on the cards that I shot them on, the original cards, and then copy it to, I have a drive sitting on my desk. It's like an 8 terabyte drive. That drive is synced with Google Drive, so I have a copy in the cloud and the physical drive and the drive I shot it on. And I keep it on the original memory card until I've delivered at least the first draft, usually until final delivery, but at least the first draft, and then I can just delete it off of there, and then I'll have the 2 copies still. I keep it on the hard drive and in the cloud for like a year, and then I just keep it on the hard drive, and I make a copy of the hard drive. So it eternally goes to 2 hard drives.
And so I'll tell you, I came up with a similar workflow. What I did was I got a bunch of SSD drives.
Okay.
I call them Ready, Set, Go.
Okay.
Go is my SSD drive that I only put final deliveries on. Ready is all footage, right? Set is what I'm editing at the time. And then I have a backup that I just put everything on because I don't have a cloud service. So I got my 3 SSDs, Ready, Set, Go. Go is only deliveries. Set is what I'm editing on at the time, and Ready is like raw footage.
So what capacity is Ready?
But all of them are 2 terabyte.
So what happens when you fill up Ready?
I got the 4th backup, right? So I'll just buy another one when
I just rename it Ready too. It's also Ready.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I've been starting to use so I switched from Premiere because in my experience, my Premiere would crash on me.
Okay.
So I've been learning DaVinci.
DaVinci Resolve. Yeah.
Right, and in DaVinci, I love how you can, and you probably could do this in Premiere, but the setup of having multiple timelines in DaVinci is great. So when I first start a project, I have at least 3 timelines. I have all my footage. My second timeline is my selects, right?
Okay.
Things I like. and then my third timeline is the final. And so you can have them stacked on top of each other. So I might have my selects on top of my final, and then I just start dropping from top to bottom, right? And then I'll still make separate bins. So I have audio in a separate bin, I have special effects in a separate bin, and all of that you can stack over and just drop it in audio when you need it, right? So that workflow and the capacity of it not crashing on me, right? Change the game. But the SSD, like I have a Mac Mini. I've never edited on my Mac Mini. Just straight SSD only.
Okay.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so.
You just work off the drive. I generally work off drives too. If I'm doing something quick for social media, I might download it to my laptop, knock it out, and then move it. But yeah, I generally work off solid
Well,
drives.
see, my Mac Mini only got like 250 gigs on it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, to keep the brain of it working at max capacity, I'm just going to always go on the SSD. And that's been going well. So set is my favorite. That's what I'm editing at the time. And it seems to, could just be in my mind, seems to go faster because I'm only messing with, so if I got a wedding, it's just that on there.
I got you. Huh, that's super interesting. Okay.
So let me ask you this for the videographers out there. Y'all pay attention because you're looking at greatness.
Yeah, right there.
What's the essentials if I was starting? Let's say I want you to do both sides. If I'm going the photography route or if I'm going the videography route, what are the basics I should purchase?
What kind of photography or videography?
I'm going videography, social media, sports, weddings. I'm going photography.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it?
Dang, those are all very different.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Right?
Okay.
But some people like to use, the reason I say that, for 60 frames per second, right? So that
Are you talking about equipment basics? Yeah, but that's, because shooting sport, depending on what the sport is, well, you know how vast sports can be. Like, we're shooting.
For sure.
For instance, when we were shooting, oh man, what's it called? Horseback riding. Equestrian. We're going over there to shoot equestrian. That's totally different than shooting swimming or football. You know, football, you might be a couple hundred yards away.
It is.
And then, you might be right up on it with equestrian and they, horses coming by. So
okay, so let's how about this? Since weddings is kind of what I would think a neutral starting point to a entrepreneur in the field, I think
that's interesting.
I believe that's a neutral starting point.
I would go events in general versus weddings is people be like sweating and trembling in their boots.
So I'll tell you why I said that.
Okay.
The client for weddings, you can find a lot of clients that don't want to spend a certain amount of money. So you might get that opportunity versus something in corporate. Or only other thing I could see that's kind of.
Say if you're shooting like birthday parties, for instance.
Birthday parties,
something like that.
Yeah,
that's way less stress generally than like a wedding, bro. You don't get to just keep doing that over.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
you might get that one time.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's make it tough. Let's make it tough. Let's stick with the weddings.
Okay. Yeah. Equipment. All right. If I'm doing video, I'm going to go with a prime lens. Something like standard, like a nifty 50, like a 50 millimeter 1.8. Yeah, for sure. Just because the look of the lens and the barrier to entry. So they're usually $200 or less. So it's not very expensive. Camera body, take your pick because all the manufacturers have great camera bodies now, and they're all more than capable.
That's true.
You got to study your equipment and know what you're doing in that regard, but they're all capable.
And this is for which side? This is for video side or photography side? Okay. So you do a 50.
I would take a 50, and then if you could get like a kit lens that comes with it.
Okay.
If you need a wide shot, you'd be good to go there. But yeah, that 50.
And did our fraternity videos. was working for Auburn High Definition, and that was powered through Daktronics.
Okay.
They had a few employees graduate or whatever, and Ian was like, man, we need somebody to come film the basketball game. I think you'd be good at it. And it was a wrap after that.
What year was this?
This was 2011.
Okay.
January 2011. So that was my first start, January 2011, filming live production. And I remember that following football season, this was after Cam Newton.
Okay.
I remember telling my uncle about it, and he was so excited. He told all his friends, my nephew down there filming the damn games. And I ain't think it was like a big deal, right? But then he have like people looking for me at the games on the TV. And then it sunk in like, damn, we don't get no credit for this, but I'm creating memories for everybody who watching this. Like ESPN don't put my name under my replay. Fox don't put my name under my replay, but folks is really watching my replay
100%.
and they don't know it's me.
Right.
So I'm creating memories for them that'll last a lifetime. I remember when I did Iron Bowl Kick 6.
I was about to say, every shot you've ever seen was created by somebody.
Somebody. You don't know who
was operating the camera.
Right? So they should have like the cameraman awards. Like they really should have those.
Yeah.
Especially for live production, because our names is never in the credits. But
I'm about to say, you see that with movies and TV shows for sure. But yeah, live. That is super interesting.
We create memories that people, like, that Kick 6 footage.
Yeah, it gets played all the time. You probably walk in Walmart on College Street right now, it's probably still playing.
Nobody knows, like, man. I remember, honestly, I used to go to the bar after some of the Auburn games, and we might be watching top 10 highlight or something, and I'd tell somebody, like, that was my shot.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, no way, dude. We're buying out the bar for you, dude. Like, dude, you don't believe what we was doing when we seen your replay. But anyway, that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's how I got into it, and I realized, man, I create so many memories, and that's where the love came from. That's what really sparked my purpose. Like before then, I wanted to make video games.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to do.
Still creative.
Still very creative, but when I started filming, I was like, man, this is something I probably never get all the credit for, but I'm creating memories that people might never know it was me, but they'll remember that memory of the magic I did behind the lens forever. So that became like the most valuable thing ever, and that's what hit my purpose off. So I never stopped doing it since then.
That's fire. Okay.
Never stopped doing it since then. So whenever somebody asks me why I do it, I be like, man, I create memories behind the lens. Like you can never take that from me, because some of the shots I done got, you gonna remember them forever.
Forever. Yeah. That's the artistry of it, is that it will outlive us.
And it's how I got the shot, right? So here's the other part that made it 10 times even better, right? So live production taught me that. Live production might have 10, 20 cameras, right? All the cameras don't get in the replay deck.
True.
Right? So some people's footage never gets recorded or never gets seen to the public. But if yours get put into that highlight reel or that melt, it's kind of like it's solidified. Like when people want to pull old footage 20 years from now, they're going to pull your clip because yours made it into the melt.
That's not an exaggeration. I was an intern at Warrigal Productions, and which was weird because I was working there and I was an intern for the school credit. It was stupid. I was like, I got to do the work and get paid, and then do it and not get paid. Stop playing with me. But anyway, we had to like archive some old footage from tapes and convert it to digital. So it was just super interesting. Like, dang, yeah, these are shots from before I was born. We shoot stuff in the 70s, or getting retrieving footage from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, this is crazy that we have this is the copy. If this is damaged,
it's a wrap.
it's a wrap. So it's super interesting how much goes into it. So
yeah, so forever, as long as I'm alive, like I always create something with the camera, because you just creating memories behind the lens forever. Like you said, even if it's that birthday party, like somebody gonna remember, like, oh man, I might not remember the dude's name, but I remember he took those pictures.
Yep. that translates a lot because it'll be people that I come across, later in life that I did one event for years ago. Or that might have just been a cousin at the birthday party, and they're like, "Yeah, you're da 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 da." I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but they're impacted that way.
I've had people, especially like weddings, they might see me down the road and be like, "Man, I ain't even know you was recording me at that time."
Yep.
Like they might have been the person dancing crazy,
just having fun.
Having. They're like, "Man, I ain't even know you.
Yeah.
You seen me," but it's like, I kind of was. You made my story even better because of what you was doing. So, yeah.
It's true, man. Video is so important, bro.
Yeah. In the right hands, so everybody,
wrong hands too.
Always remember the camera is always recording. Yeah. Be on the better side of the lens, and until next time, we've been all over the place, and it's been great, and we'll see you next time. Please and thank you.
Cool.
That's fire, dog.
How simple was that?
Yeah. So we at least got some shorts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Plenty of short.